Longest lasting winter fragrances, Middle Eastern. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? My name's Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about only long-lasting fragrances that are perfect for the winter time. So they either fit the occasion, fit the mood of just winter, which is usually warm, cuddly, and maybe even dessert-like fragrances. So let's go ahead and get started with one of the first fragrances on here, which is no relationship to any dessert fragrance. It's just a long-lasting fragrance that'll work in any season. It's called Avenue New York by Grandeur. This has notes of apple, ambroxan, ambergris. There's some florals in here and spices. It smells like a very barbershop-y fougere style of scent that's modernized. And in fact, this smells like a dupe of Lafayette Street by Bond No. 9. So that one's about $345, whereas this one, if you're lucky enough to find it, it's like $40 or less. It lasts the entire day to the next day on clothing. It's a very masculine scent profile as well. It just literally smells like maybe shaving cream and something of that. Yeah, it smells really good, actually. In the air, it smells sophisticated, very luxurious, and masculine at the same time. Longevity, needless to say, like with the rest of this list, it's going to last to the next day on clothing. So if you like barbershop-y fougere scents, you definitely should check that one out. Moving on to the next one. This is called Blue Oud by Ahmed Al Maghribi. Notoriously known for their enormous performance and projection, this brand delivers when it comes to Blue Oud. It's a leather-dominant scent with an undertone of oud scents. It smells like a blue take, literally, on woods. Simple as that. I don't find that it's animalistic, but it's very bold in nature. If you like fragrances like Tom Ford's Ombre Leather, this smells exactly like that with a blue vibe to it. I wouldn't say that this is an exact dupe of anything of that, but it smells like maybe a hybrid of Louis Vuitton's Ombre Nomade meets Ombre Leather by Tom Ford. More so the leather vibe, less of that inky nature, and it lasts to the next day on clothing. This stuff will not go anywhere until you wash your clothes. I'd be careful with the trigger on this one as well, because most of these, just like with most of these, it's not going to be, these are winter fragrances for a reason. Keep them for the cooler weather for sure. Next one by Armaf is Club de Nuit Intense Man Eau de Parfum. You guys, this on clothes doesn't go anywhere. And not only that, but you don't have to just limit it to the winter time. It'll do amazing in the winter. And I spray this one on anywhere from 7 to 10 sprays. It's great. It's versatile, it works literally everywhere, and it's extremely compliment worthy. It smells like Aventus, better than Aventus smells as of right now. There's an extrait version coming out very soon. It's not out yet, otherwise it would be on this list. Otherwise, this is still something that lasts for days on clothing. Club de Nuit smells like that pineapple, birch, woods, a little bit smoky, and that's pretty much it. You do have to enjoy lemon-style intensive fragrance notes to enjoy something like this. It's got Boston CEO vibes written all over it. Back into the winter realm with something that's not necessarily gourmandy, but it'll remind you of like desserts, warm, ambery, vanilla, chestnut, super sexy. This is called Hypnotic Amber by Zena Perfumes. This smells like, oh my God, dude, it's absolutely intoxicating. Vanilla, toffee, spices, a lot of aromatics and ambers. 4 sprays will last literally for the entire day, and it will project the entire day. This is no joke. If you like Stronger With You Intensely, I favor this one more because it seems to kind of tone down those spices and focus more so on that vanilla and ambery nature. And also the chestnut vibe that's in this one seems a little bit more roasted, if you will, and more intensive. Love this stuff. It's absolutely insane. Hypnotic Amber. I also think that a woman can pull that one off, but needless to say, I wouldn't go more than 4 sprays, and I would reserve this one for the winter and the fall time. Now, for those of you who like polarizing and very strong and in your face, Ignite Oud. This is, wow, I love this fragrance. It smells a lot like Oud Marcuja with a jammy addition of rose. Very intense, not as dry as Oud Marcuja, and in fact, even more interesting than Oud Marcuja itself. I wouldn't necessarily call this a dupe, but the actual notes for this one include that same passion fruit, the oud, the leather, the incense. But to my nose, I get a lot more of like this lychee vibe, maybe even the addition of rose that makes it just that much better, genuinely, than Oud Marcuja. This is around $340, and this one you can probably find for around $70 to $80 and worth every freaking penny. Also the same story, I wouldn't spray this on more than about 4 to 6 times maximum. And you guys know that I actually spray my fragrances, but with that one, that is definitely something that I will go with for that. Now, it's important to note that when it comes to long-lasting fragrances, it really depends also on the way that the fragrances are made. A lot of notes, you guys, just won't last. And so, for instance, a lot of fresh fragrances don't necessarily make it on these lists because of that. Now, I will be creating more longer-lasting fragrance lists for the summertime and freshies, and that'll come as the seasons are appropriate. And I would love to know what you guys think down in the comments. There are Middle Eastern fragrances and freshies that last long enough to also get you you in through the winter time like this. But for this list, for the most part, I wanted to pick and stay true to the title of winter appropriate scents. So needless to say, Club de Nuit is exactly that, and so is this next one. This is also by Ahmed Al Maghribi. You guys need to check out their brand if you want performing fragrances. I will say some of their products are around the middle price range, so you are getting what you pay for ultimately, just like with anything else in life. And if you pay like $20, $30 to find something that's enormous in projection longevity, it's not as common. Can you do it? Yes, but is it as common? Not necessarily. For example, my fragrances will last the entire day, but I wanted to kind of keep it aside from biases, so I might as well mention it now and keep it out of the list. AROMATIX fragrances are now available on Joma Shop, where you can pick them up. They both last the entire day, and that is the motto for most of, or I should say the ground point for most of my creations, is that they should last at the very least an entire day. Moving on to La Thani by Ahmed Al Maghribi, and that basically means no other, and that's what they're going for with this one. This is a leather aromatic musky fragrance that also includes some notes of tangerine and candied pear, or candied tangerine and pear. It reminds me of, think of fragrances that are doing like that Qissa, Imperial Valley, also Arabian Oud Staraf, and most of you out there probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. So let me explain it for you. It's like this very aromatic, leather, musky, but done in a fresh way. And not only that, the addition of the pear and the tangerine give it a little bit of this candied vibe. So although some of those notes sound relatively dense, it's not really backed by a base of like this heavy amber or vanilla. La Thani in specific does smell like a lot of those fragrances, and even having some similarities to their other scents like Marj, etc. But where this one takes a difference or a twist on it is going to be the addition of that pear and the tangerine. Needless to say, if you don't know any of those other fragrances, if you don't have any of those other fragrances, this is really good. So if I were to place this next to Marj, which is another offering from the same brand, this would be like the slightly more masculine version of something like that. A lot of people find Marj to be a bit more feminine because it has floral touches to that same DNA that I was explaining, whereas this one goes more towards the leather and those candied fruits. That one goes more towards the florals and fresher aspects of using that pear, etc. So both of these can be rocked by both genders. I think both of them are excellent and they're both long lasting, but for the sake of this list and not making it all Ahmed Al Maghribi, I'm gonna just keep Marj out of the list. So this one was called La Thani, and it is a fantastic and very unique exotic scent profile that will last easily all day. Moving on to the next one, something a little bit more mass appealing and easy to wear, is the infamous Liquid Brune. Now there might be other people that fabricate when they get compliments, but I mean, I do get compliments frequently. And this is one of those that literally a woman came up to me while being with another woman and told me I smelled delicious. Why the I lie about that? Like, it just makes no sense. I mean, maybe there are a lot of people that do, but I can tell you for a fact, it all comes down to your personality, likability, approachability, and the way you take care of yourself and present yourself. And I proudly to do all of that. So if you're doing that, then you're more likely to get compliments. With Liquid Brune, it's also more likely to get you compliments as well. It's just the facts. It's given me more compliments than most Middle Eastern cheapies in general. And if you're watching this video and one day we meet, you'll see. And you'll probably compliment me and I'll be wearing Liquid Brune. No, I'm just playing. Anyway, I can't guarantee compliments, obviously, you guys, but this is my honest experience. I've got a lot of compliments while rocking this fragrance, and the longevity for this has been enormous. It's lasted for like, I would say 2 to 3 days. I had a little satchel that I traveled with me to Italy, and it was sprayed on there, and it lasted the entire trip. Not only that, but it also lasts on clothing whenever I go out on dates or anything. This is usually the one I'm going with. It smells like vanilla, orange flower, cinnamon, and ambroxan. It's simple, it works, it smells fantastic. Another reason I like this a little bit more is because of the fact that it seems a little bit more ambery as it starts to dry down. Beautiful scent profile. Next one is called Bravanzo Baron. If you're a tobacco lover, if you're into rich, ambery, dark tobacco, Bravanzo Baron smells like that. It kind of has like this patchouli, tobacco, ambers, and spice. Not too much on the spice, and it reminds me a bit of like if Carlisle by PDM had a baby with red tobacco. Red tobacco is a lot harsher than what this one smells like, and that's why I feel like it also has some of those tonka bean and earthy undertones that you'll get from Carlisle, more specifically the patchouli and some of that tonka bean sweetness. Red tobacco is very fucking harsh, like very harsh. It's too much. This one, it's really good. It's really good, it's smooth, it's mellow, and it's going to last to the next day on clothing. So if you like tobacco scents, that's very clear cut. Amber, tobacco, spice, maybe hints of sweetness, type tobacco, that's what you're gonna get with Bravanzo. Listen, Ramon Blazar, the Bravanzo series has always, like most of their fragrances are very strong. And they have a scent profile for every scent that, like if you wanted something fresh, they have Vestige. If you wanted something, and that's gonna be on that fresh list. If you wanted some, they also have Imperial, I believe, which is Cedrat Boisé, Vestige, which smells like Vibrato Suspiro and Tiger. And then they also have the red one. The red one I think it smells like Baccarat with spice. It's strange, or Cologne by PDM. Anyways, moving on to the next one, and recommendations for sprays for this one. I would definitely keep this in the winter and the fall time, but do not spray this more than 5 to 6 times. Do not. Next one is a little bit lighter. It's more towards the floral side of things. Lychee, jammy, fruity. This is very sexy. It's called Goodness Oud by Riffs. Believe it or not, and I'm actually very shocked, Riffs has made a long lasting fragrance. This is probably their longest lasting one, and it smells a lot like raspberry rose and lychee. Gummy, jammy, very sexy, and extremely unisex, but you do have to enjoy the note of rose, gentlemen. And this smells like Ramon Monigol's Flamenco, and that in itself is fantastic. Flamenco in itself, I still recommend you purchase because it's beautiful, but this is inspired by it and it'll last the entire day on clothing. Amount of sprays that go on this one is no more than 8. It does come off very sugary, sweet, playful, gummy, so sexy. It's called Riffs Goodness Oud. Last but not least, this is like holiday festive vibe. This is the winter time in one fragrance. It's called Celerio Epic. A lot of people are still buying Khamra, and I can understand why. I mean, there was a lot of hype. There's still so many videos about that one, but listen, man, Epic is better than most of those inspos in every way. And when it comes to angel share inspirations or dupes, there's so many on the market. Some that went viral, Middle Eastern, etc. We all know Khamra, Royal Blends, and God knows however many. And this one is like a hybrid of angel share and spice. In fact, it reminds me of another Middle Eastern fragrance, which Khamra in itself smells more like. So this is a blend of both worlds, but this outperforms all of them. It actually outperforms all of them. This is called Dumont Celerio Epic, and I've sprayed it on clothing, and it has lasted for 3 mother effing days. I kid you not, it's one of the lightest scent profiles as well, and when it projects, there's even a fresh aspect to it. It's got the booze, it's got the spice, it's got everything nice. If I had to pick one out of all of them, I would go with this one in terms of like angel share, okay? Angel share in itself is a little bit syrupy, and by the way, we do have now the Angel Share Paradise, which is really good. I like this one a little bit more, but crazy. You guys, 1.7. Oh my God, for 400 bucks. I mean, it smells really good. Would I buy it again? I actually would buy it again. So watch the review for that one if you think whether or not it's worth it, or my opinion on to whether or not it's worth it. But this is $50 or less. 100 mLs, eau de parfum, but it acts like a freaking like a tar. Yeah. So that's pretty much it, man. What this smells like is apple pie vibes. It also gives me like the cinnamon spice, holiday festives, but also a little bit more versatile than that. Very boozy, sexy, seductive, and extremely unisex. There are quite a few Angel Share inspos, and they all start to get into like this OCD territory. This one has that note, and this one is a little spicier, and it's like, bro, like, which one do we pick? And I get it, man. I have all of them. I have all of them. It ended up being like 26. I have literally 26 Angel Share dupes. Like, what do you want me to do? You want me to come up here and be like, buy these 3? Like, no, bro. Like, I'm not gonna say that. This is my favorite. It's up to you what you buy, right? I love this. It's lasted. Royal Blend Nero is good. Khamra is good. But there have been so many new ones. So that's all I can do, is tell you that I love this one. And whether or not you buy it, completely up to you. But if you ask me for my pick, these would all be the top 10 longest lasting winter Middle Eastern fragrances. And that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. These aren't just the only 10 that last longest. And I'm probably gonna make another video just like this for more winter fragrances that last. But I would say that out of my entire Middle Eastern fragrance collection, when it comes to the more affordables, there's probably like, I would say like 20, maybe 30 tops of like the longest lasting to the next day. And we're talking a collection out of like, what, 1,000? So that's not that many. So I will consider making another video. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. And that's pretty much it, man. So if you're looking for the longest lasting ones, my newest one, I'm absolutely addicted to Hypnotic Amber. And I don't see anybody really talking about this one, which is crazy. And they also have a fresh fragrance that does last a hell of a long time as well. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Neve. Thank you for tuning back in Aromatics, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.